Shri Ganesha Sharada Gurubhyo Namaha Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedhase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Welcome to all for this session on Ramayana to chapter 54 of Bala Kanda. In the previous chapter we have seen the king Kaushika, the Vishwamitra, while traveling around with his army, he visited the ashrama of Vasista and was well received and respected by Vasista. And then Vasista was interested in offering a feast for his entire army, for which King Vishwamitra accepted, and Vasista arranged the feast with the help of Shabala, the wish-fulfilling cow. But on seeing such a jewel like Shabala, King Vishwamitra developed a desire to capture that great jewel, going by his Kshatriya feeling that he should be always acquiring more wealth, acquiring more power, acquiring more land. That's the nature of a Kshatriya, and with that he told Vasista that he will offer heaps of gold, heaps of silver, billions of cows, millions of horses, millions of chariots, millions of elephants, all adorned with gold, everything. However, Vasista, being himself with a Brahmanical mindset, he was neither interested in gold, silver, nor in the power, nor in all those treasure. He was simply happy with his studies. He is simply happy with performing yajna. He is simply leading a simple, happy life with Shabala. He told that under any circumstance, he will never part with Shabala. O Rama, perceiving that Sri Vasista would not willingly consent to part with the cow, Vishwamitra resolved to carry her away by force. O Raghava, while Shabala was being forcibly carried off, distracted with grief, she began to reflect thus: why was the holy Vasista abandoned me? In what way have I often offended the holy sage? Why are the servants of the king dragging me away from the hermitage? I am innocent and docile. The holy Muni is dear to me. What fault have I committed that the Mahatma Vasista should abandon me? Sighing again and again, Shabala, shaking off the hands of the king's attendants, swiftly ran and placed her head at the feet of holy sage. Standing before Sri Vasista, shedding tears and lamenting loudly, she cried, O Lord, O son of Brahma, have you verily abandoned me? Why are the servants of the king taking me away from your presence by force? Seeing the sorely stricken Shabala, Sri Vasista addressed her as he would to his own sister, saying, O Shabala, it is not by my will that you are thus being carried away, neither have you offended to me in any way. O dear one, drunk with desire, the king is taking you from me by force. I have not the proper way. I do not have the power to defend you. The king is a warrior and lord of the earth. He is attended by a mighty army with horses, elephants, and chariots. Verily, he is mightier than me. Shabala, who was skilled in argument, listened to the words of Sri Vasista and said, O holy sage, the power of a warrior is nothing compared to that of a holy sage. O illustrious Lord, the strength of a sage is divine and based on the exercise of spiritual practices and discipline. It is therefore limitless. You are, O Lord, immeasurably stronger than a Kshatriya. The power of that mighty king Kaushika is great, but he cannot equal to you your strength and splendor. O Lord, through your strength and energy, suffer me to destroy, allow me to destroy the power and pride of this wicked wretch. Shri Vasista answered, be it so. Create an army by your spiritual energy that will destroy the forces of the king. Lowing loudly, Shabala, in obedience to the sage, instantly produced hundreds of foreign soldiers who began to destroy the army of Vishwamitra while he was looking on. Perceiving his army about to be overthrown, King Vishwamitra became enraged and mounting his chariot, his eyes red with anger, he advanced to the attack. With various weapons he began to slay thousands of men, and Shabala, seeing the army created by her being annihilated, now produced strange beings called Shakas in such numbers that they filled the whole earth, highly valorous, their skins shining like gold, clad in yellow armor, furnished with scimitars and maces. They started to consume the army of Vishwamitra like a raging fire. Then the great Vishwamitra, with the aid of yogic weapons, began to create disorder in the ranks of the forces produced by Shabala. Thus ended chapter 54 of Bala Kanda in Ramayana. And here in this part of the story, we hear a wonderful sentence by Shabala saying that the power of a Brahmana, the divine power of a sage is much more stronger than the power of a warrior who is just a ruler. Remember, whether it is a politician or a king, he wields the power with the help of a handful people. He wields the power with a handful of army, a small number of army, and that power is always having its own limits. And the power of a sage, power of a yogi, is the power of the people. If one utterance by such a person who is selfless, who lives for the sake of world, who has no desire for his own, who do not want to own the land, who do not want to have any treasury, who do not want any power, and if such a selfless person gives one call, that is sufficient, the politicians or any ruler will be washed away. It happened in the history of Bharata that it was the mighty Britishers who were ruling the entire Bharata and subdued all the kings here. But in spite of that, those selfless people who do not have any desire for power, such people, they call upon all the people to join the war of freedom. And then finally, Britishers, they were not only routed and kicked out of India, kicked out of Bharata, they were also kicked out from all the colonial places and finally pushed to that corner known as the British Kingdom or the United Kingdom. This is what has happened in the history, and the same thing has happened several times in the history. Whenever and wherever the kings became the troublemongers for their own people, it was always someone who is a selfless, someone who always thinks for the sake of people, someone who is a loka hita chintaka, who is a well-wisher of the world. And when they give just one call, that was enough. That king was kicked out from the throne. And it is because of that reason, remember, people have made the statement, it was the Brahmanas who ruled this earth for thousands of years. But the Brahmana did not sat on the throne except during the time of Peshwas. They never sit on the throne. They were always on the side of people. They were always the well-wishers for the people. And because of that reason, people, it was the power of the people. It was the people who supported them. And the power of the Brahmana there was the power of the people. And Brahmana was only giving a call to the people for their own welfare. They united the people to ensure the safety and well-being of those people. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಕಾಶ್ಮೀರಪುರವಾಸಿನಿ ತ್ವಾಮಹಂ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯಂ ವಿದ್ಯಾದಾನಂಚ ದೇಹಿ ಮೇ. ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ.